Okay, Eve ships are weird, freaky and awesome in variety and function. I almost went a little crazy scripting out this video because not only are Eve ships all of that, the circumstances of how players use them is extremely complex. One could write volumes about Eve ships, how they are used, and believe me, I've seen players with manuals several pages thick about the use of Eve ships. Now I come at the game from the perspective of a PvP player because frankly, that is more exciting for me than shooting at AI-driven NPCs without personalities or wacky, unpredictable behavior. For my own curiosity, I did a bit of data analysis to find out what the most popular ships are that players use mostly in the PvP setting, and, more importantly, why. Using Zkill, which is the database where almost all ship losses involving player combat is, let's dive into this. Let's first look at the groups or ship classes. The most popular ships used here are frigates. These are often cheap 50 to 70 meter long little ships. They come in all shapes and sizes and used for all kinds of things from combat to exploration, even mining. But look here, this is a huge surprise. The rusty Minmatar Vigil is the most popular frigate in use, and this surprised me. You see the comment right there under it. That's a Navy issue Galanti combat frigate that truly is a great ship, and usually I have a few of those. But the Vigil's only specialization is target painting, not turrets, drones, missiles, or anything combat related. So target painters are used to bloom the heat signature of an enemy ship and make it much easier to hit. There's only two uses for a ship like that. One is fleet support, and as you can see, the data shows that the ship is mostly used in nullsec, where large fleets operate, and almost every kill it appears in involves many others. The other use it might have is a kill whoring ship. That's right, no real contribution to any kind of battle, but to paint an already dying target so that the player can appear on the kill mail along with everyone else, further boosting this arbitrary kill number, which usually means nothing as far as being a good PvP pilot. It's just the kind of behavior I'd expect from nullbears. And now a word from our sponsor, Interstellar Booty Hunters Exotic Dancers Agency and Combat Booster Pharmaceuticals. Some may call Interstellar Booty Hunters a small dilapidated pirate gang, however, there is good charity work being done there. The Minmatar Alliance and Amar Empire have been fighting a bloody and brutal faction war for decades, and Interstellar Booty Hunters makes efforts to keep the peace in the war zones while also helping war refugees. These refugees sometimes find employment as exotic dancers, males, females, or other, and they're a regular presence in each Booty Hunter's cargo hold and represent an ascent to joy and freedom from the horrors of war. Various pharmaceuticals are also provided to enhance the performance of these refugee relief efforts. This is dangerous work. If you wish to support the Booty Hunters in their relief efforts, I recommend you purchase exotic dancers and pharmaceuticals at the Boundless Creations Trade Hub in Heck. I know it smells slightly of eggs in that station, but not to worry, we guarantee results. Also, those Omega pilots with some interest in PvP may qualify to join the Booty Hunters directly and join the relief efforts. And of course, pharmaceuticals and dancers are provided for free to new Booty Hunters. Side effects may include nosebleeds, irritable bowel syndrome, temporary heart failure, lightheadedness, and risky uninhibited behavior. Consult your doctor to see if Booty Pharmaceuticals are the right choice for you. Next category down are cruisers. Cruisers range in size from about, say, the original Enterprise up to almost double that, averaging around 300 meters. These ships are popular because there is a huge variety of cruisers used for many things. Some are brick-tanked and can barely move, others can achieve nose-bleeding velocities, but still are overall less nimble than frigates. As you can see here at the top is the Osprey Navy issue, which is very strange looking, certainly not cheap ship, but not overly expensive either. Almost every frigate and destroyer pilot will groan with disappointment when they see one of these show up on grid. Its rapid light missiles can catch and devastate smaller ships, while it also achieves speeds that can outrun most cruisers, destroyers, and even keep up with the fastest of frigates. Of course, closely following the Osprey Navy issue is the Triglavian Vedmak, which is more expensive but can be as fast as the Osprey Navy issue with very effective weapons and more versatile fitting options. Not to mention the Vedmak is pure sex. And then the funny looking Executor Navy issue, which is a brick tank blaster cruiser, which is brawly DPS right in everyone's face. The next most popular ship category are the combat battle cruisers. These are bulkier and a bit bigger than cruisers. Think somewhere between an Excelsior class from Star Trek and a Rendili Stardrive Dreadnought from Star Wars. They have many more weapon slots than cruisers, and they are more combat oriented, although they can be used with command center boosters to increase the stats of your fleet. Battle cruisers also can fit a micro jump drive, very much like battleships, which in emergencies can instantly teleport you 100 kilometers away. Combat battlecruisers are not to be confused with attack battlecruisers, which can fit battleship-sized weapons, but have a paper-thin tank. So as you can see here, the weird and wacky Gnosis is the most popular battlecruiser by far. Why? Affordability and versatility. It has some kind of bonus for almost every weapon type available in EVE. It also has sufficient mid-slots for several utilitarian items such as webifiers to slow ships down, warp disruptors, shield tanks if you want, but most often of all, sensor boosters. What are sensor boosters? They increase the sensor strength and lock speed of the ship. Why do you need that? Well, to catch fast-moving ships coming out of stargates, of course. That's right, the Gnosis is the bread and butter of gate campers, mostly in low-sec and pirate space. You often need a ship with a very fast align time to warp to escape one of these things equipped for gate camping. Alright, next we have something that your noob isn't going to be able to fly for some time, if at all. You're going to have to be an Omega account to get into this very high-tech ship category, and that would be strategic cruisers. And this surprised me a little bit because of their overall cost. These are very advanced cruisers with a number of modular subsystems that can make this cruiser a beast in a variety of specialized situations. They can only be constructed with special materials found in wormhole systems. For PvE, they can dominate. For PvP, they can be as tanky, but with better maneuverability, as a low-tier battleship. And most popular of this, by far, is the Minmatar Loki. And I have one of these. So why is this rusty-ass ugly Minmatar ship popular? Here is the pattern I can see. Well, obviously they can cloak with no problems. And they're very versatile with weapons, this being either missiles or projectile turrets. But they also can be configured for a stasis webifier range bonus. This means they can slow an enemy ship down to a crawl from quite a distance away. This means you can catch the enemy easier, hit the enemy easier, and control the optimal position of your own ship with ease. This is not only immensely helpful while alone, but also when operating with a group. So yeah, right now the Loki is the king of strategic cruisers. Now let's go into destroyers. Destroyers in EVE range in size from 200 meters to as much as 300 meters. They average about the mass of a Nebulon B frigate from Star Wars. Destroyers are much more heavily armed than frigates, but with less utility, so they are more combat oriented and they tend towards DPS rather than tank. As far as popularity, this actually surprised me. The Triglavian Kikamura, which is pure sex, seems to be the current meta for destroyers. I thought it would be the much cheaper Catalyst or Thrasher, but the Kikamura can do so much better than either of those. With its weird precursor technology, it mounts an entropic disintegrator like all Triglavian ships, which has pretty good range and starts out with mediocre damage, but if allowed to continue to fire at the target, the damage will spool up to insane amounts. Most destroyers that can do a comparable amount of damage, like say the Gallente Catalyst, can only do this at short range, and they are not half as fast to boot. Now you've got to go Omega to fly one of these smooth sailing sexiful things. In my opinion, it's well worth it. I believe that the large nullsec alliances have standing Kikamura fleets as a kind of rapid response option, which makes sense given the nature of nullsec space, and they undoubtedly have built production lines that brings their costs down. Anyway, I love these destroyers, and I have 2 of them in my hangar right now. Okay, one more category before this video becomes a really long documentary, and that's battleships. Battleships are almost as big as something like an Imperial Star Destroyer, and certainly as large as, say, the biggest Starfleet ships in Star Trek. They are more combat-oriented than cruisers or frigates, but they certainly can be configured for a vast variety of combat situations, from damage-absorbing brick tanks to fast, long-range kiters, to energy-sapping neutralizers, and even cloaky, covert black ops that drop out of nowhere and kill your ship. Now this category will be easy. The most popular battleship is the Praxis. This is another Society of Conscious Thought ship, the same as the ones who designed the Gnosis, which is the most popular battlecruiser. A Praxis is really just a big ol' Gnosis, with more firepower, more tank, just as much versatility and utility. Since that's so easy, we'd better go ahead and talk about the second most popular battleship, which is the Macario, which is an insanely fast Angel Cartel pirate battleship. This is a versatile combat ship that is capable of even running down fast cruisers, but due to its superior range control, it's a popular fleet doctrine. A whole bunch of artillery Macarios can punch through the toughest tank from a comfortable distance before the enemy can react. I usually have one of these myself. Alright, I could go on to capital ships, but we best save that for another video, knowing how the nature of most of y'all's attention span is. Okay, space friends, I need to let y'all know that I have relaunched my Patreon page. This is a great way to support me, and also you can get some of the 3D models that I have worked on in my other CG breakdown videos at patreon.com/resurrected. Also, there's a link to my CG Trader page in the description. And to those of you who are Eve fans, I apologize that I left you at a terrible cliffhanger at the last Eve story video. I intend to make the next part in the coming month. I really appreciate y'all's support and views and likes and subscriptions, hidden comments as well. I am trying to go full time with YouTube right now. I believe I can, especially with y'all's help and support. Thanks again, until next time, space friends, but oh wait, I've got blooper retakes. Now I come at the game from the retake. No real contribution retake. This means they can slow an enemy ship down to a quad retake. Most destroyers can do a comparable retake, but due to its superior range control, it's a popular retake. But they certainly can be configured for a retake